A lot of people ask, how long does a brush by HTP and a roller last? Well, I wanted to show you some comparisons today, and I'm going to show you how to clean them so you can get the same results I've gotten. A brush of any kind, this one's really loose, perfect for just smoothing your paint. It needs to have that movement in order for the paint to be properly put onto the surface of what you're working on and not get deep brush marks or ridges or just stiff marks with it. The collar that's on a brush is actually, it's where all those bristles are glued in. But if you have paint way up on your brush and your brush is like this, paint goes all down in here, and this collar and base acts like a cup. And what happens is that fills with paint. And if that happens, it gets all hardened in there, and you literally cannot, no matter how much you wash, you're not going to get the paint out of in here. And pretty soon it's going to get stiff farther and farther down, and you're not going to get this nice open flow that this has. And then your brush doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to get down on the surface and bend like it should to apply the paint. And your brush is ruined. If you don't overload your brush and you clean it the way I'm going to show you in the video, you're going to have a beautiful brush for years. I'm going to open a brand new one so you absolutely know I haven't cheated and used something else. And you can definitely see the little bits of paint that are on this, because I try to keep these collars scrubbed off, but I'm not always as meticulous as I could be. So I want you to see a brand new HTP brush. This one's brand new. This one I have used for about 5.5 years. Look at the flow to it. Look at the flow to it. They're virtually almost identical. This has a little more shine to it because this has just been rubbed and scrubbed and cleaned for a long time, but the actual movement of the bristles and all is virtually identical. If you apply paint with each of them, it's going to be identical. Now I'm going to compare for you a brand new roller. This one has just a little bit more spring to it right now. This one, that is the one I've been using, has been through about 6 projects. For my kitchen, when I painted it, I used 2 rollers for the entire kitchen project, and I've got a medium-sized kitchen and still continued to use those rollers on other projects. The key is cleaning them, especially these edges here, which is where the paint can get up on there and dry and get crusty, and then that leaves lines or creates texture in your finish. There's a little bit of stain on here from a dark blue that I used, but it's all soft. You can tell when these are getting past their point of being used, especially when they're wet. You squeeze it and it does not want to come back to its shape. It's really slow coming back to its shape, or it starts holding a lot of paint when you're rolling. But it takes a while for that to happen, because you could be pushing too hard and overload it with paint at any point. But you start to feel a difference in how it's working. But it should still feel pretty firm like this one does. And the things that you use to clean it, the brushes and this, are hot water, regular Dawn, Blue Dawn dish soap, and the HTP Brush and Tool Cleaner. You could use just the cleaner by itself. I like to get the most of the residues of paint out with the Dawn. For me, it just feels like it's a little faster, and I have a pump of it on the sink that I use, the vanity that I use for cleaning my paints. So I'm going to show you in the video how to properly clean your brushes and your rollers to get this kind of wear out of them. You'll also get to see the top of my paint sink because that paint sink, the top was done in my color choices for Carrera Marble with the HTP water resistant sealer on it about 4 years ago now, and most of the 4 years it's been used as my paint sink. So you'll see what that countertop looks like with the kind of wear that a sink can get when you're cleaning paints, and most of the time I have brushes and containers sitting all over it. So I'm hoping this video is going to help you out a lot and help you have years of use out of your brush and multiple projects out of your rollers. I thought it would be a good idea to let you guys see cleaning brushes and rollers. I see the posts all the time, and it's easier to show you what goes on with it. There'll be some noise in this with the water that we'll try to cut down. One of the things you want to do is you want to get warm to hot water. I prefer hot water. Just like anything else, like if you're cleaning dishes, you're wiping something else, warm and hot water does a quicker, faster job. But I also wanted you to see my countertop. This is my paint sink. It has been painted for almost 4 years. I do keep a plastic container here for my soap and for the brush cleaner, because over time the brush cleaner will eat through the paint and soap will get under the dispenser, will stick, can glue your dispenser down, and can tear paint off if you let it dry and you don't soak water around it to try to get it up. But I wanted you to see this countertop is perfect, and I can't ask for much harder workout for it than the fact that I splatter paint on here cleaning, and then I have to go back and clean it off, and the water resistant sealer lets me do it. I've painted 3 doors with this roller. Well, not painted it, but I have rolled 3 doors with this roller. So I've got this water, it's good and hot. I actually put a little bit of cold into mine simply because my water heater is right against the other wall, and this gets scalding pretty fast because we don't have littles here, so we keep hot water. So I put it down in the sink. You should be able to see it's starting to come back to the gray. Once it runs clear, check these edges. There's little bits of blue here, there's some blue here. That will form a crust of dry paint, and you don't want that. So put your finger down and push your thumb over that edge. You're keeping your finger there so you're not tearing the roller, but you're getting all of that off. You can do it under the water. I just try to keep it wet and come back out. Check your roller again. And what I've found is rollers rarely ever need the brush cleaner or soap. They open cell on them with hot water. And I keep a little bit of cold just so it stays at a steady, really hot temperature. But we have our hot water heater up pretty high because we don't have any littles. So there's no paint on it. It didn't take very long to do that. And if you have to use your brush, again, say within an hour or so for another coat, Or even when you pick it up in the morning and it's been sitting drying, make sure you take a paper towel and squeeze it, because you'll find areas where the water has pooled in it, and then it's ready to go again. I have painted the equivalent of 3 door fronts twice with this brush, and you can see the paint is not way up on my brush at all. So what I'm going to do first is just put it under the hot water and let it start emptying out. Then I start working the brush, pulling the bristles apart. Don't tip your brush upright. You want the paint coming out of it, not going into it, not going up high into the hilt here. You want it coming out of the tips. There's a little bit of paint that is stuck here that has dried through this while I was painting. Your Green-scrubby is a huge help. Get it wet. Actually, that's when I usually put some water down in here to get it so that I'm under here. Take the scrubby, go across it. And any of that dry paint that has gotten on there will come right off. And I check for those dry spots. Now, this does not hurt the brush at all. This brush I've been using for at least 4 years, if not 5. And I purposely chose that one to paint with today so that you could see that it's not damaged at all. It's running clear. This is not clean. I'm going to put straight Dawn, Blue Dawn dish soap on it. And you should be able to see some glue coming out because it's breaking up the rest of the residue that's on the brush. Pull those bristles apart to get all that soap out. It's running clear again. Now, the last thing I do is I take the brush cleaner. See if I can turn hands so you can see better how much I'm using. Doesn't take a lot. I get just a little tiny bit of water on there so that activates all the way through those bristles. And I'm pushing that into my hand to push those around. There's still just a little bit, barely a little bit of the color that I can see in this. But that's telling me I've gotten the last of this out of here. If there was anything on here or on my top here that I wanted to get off, that's going to take it right off. Or you can use the Green-scrubby. Some of this has been on here longer because I don't always take the time to scrub it all off. So that's older paint that's on there. Again, splay those bristles. Turn it both ways. And then grab that brush. There's nothing in the sink here now. Pull it down. Squeeze it. And shape it so that it looks like it did when you bought it. A brush that's been taken care of, that's like this one, 4 to 5 years old, will still look like this and be beautiful and ready to use. If I needed to use this on something else, maybe an hour or 2 from now, don't just pick it up and use it. Grab a couple of paper towels and squeeze it in your hand And you should see that's wet. You may have to do that a couple of times so that the brush is truly dry enough to start painting without making water runs in the surface that you're painting and diluting your paint. But that's how to take care of the brushes and the rollers. And if you're doing this and you're painting cabinet doors, you have two gray rollers. Have a bowl of water handy that they will submerge in. After you've done about 3 doors with the roller, drop one roller into the water and then start using the second roller. Once you've done about 3 more doors, stop, wash those rollers like I showed you, dry them, and start painting again. And while you're washing those rollers, wrap your brush in saran so you don't start getting dried paint on the outside of it that will chip off and leave little bits on the surface and can create texture because the brush can't move smoothly. But that's how you clean them.
I'm the project supervisor for Angel's Nook. It is my job to make sure my humans focus on giving you clear and precise instructions. And let me tell you, sometimes it's like herding foxes.
Wait a minute. Don't you mean cats?
I chased a cat once, and let me tell you, it was not my finest hour.
Well, for one thing, you silly furball, it's cats. Secondly, you're not supposed to be in the flower bed. And finally, you're sitting in my spot.